He is joined right now by Congressman Barney Frank, chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. Eric, over to you.
Thank you, Deirdre. Delighted to be joined by the chairman. Mr. Chairman, Deirdre was just talking about the confirmation of Ben Bernanke's second term as Fed governor. I know you've been supportive of Ben Bernanke, but the issue now seems to be his troubles might only be beginning. Do you think he's got a very tough second term ahead of him?
Well, he does because of the economy, but it won't be as tough as the first time. You know, it was striking to me to watch Republicans in particular try to make an issue of this. Ben Bernanke was George Bush's senior economic advisor. Bush made him chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors. He was Bush's appointee to chair the Fed, along with Secretary of the Treasury Paulson, the Bush appointee. They were the ones in charge of this, and it's been extraordinary the extent to which the Republicans have apparently tried us to believe that the world began January 20th of 2009. Nothing had ever happened before that. And I think what happened, frankly, was some of the more serious Republicans in the real economy, corporate leaders and others, went to some of the Republican senators and said, guys, games have got to end now, because if Ben Bernanke had been rejected, it would have had a terrible economic effect. It would have hurt with the markets, but it would have hurt even more with people's decisions to invest. It would have suggested a great deal of uncertainty. So, yeah, things are tough. I think going forward, they're not going to be as tough as they were. Like in September of 2008, I was summoned, along with others, to Speaker Pelosi's office to hear Bush's Secretary of the Treasury and Bush's chair of the Council of Economic Advisors for the Federal Reserve tell us if we didn't take some very extraordinary measures, the economy would simply melt down. And working through that has been very tough. And I think going forward, we have some difficult work, but it won't be as tough as that.
It won't be as tough as that?
No.
All right, Chairman. I'm not sure exactly how much time before we go to a break, but I do want to turn our attention to what's going on here in Davos. There's been a lot of discussion. In fact, battle lines are being drawn between the bankers and the regulators, effectively. Are you concerned to see such a sharp divide over this issue of bank regulation?
I'm not, because the big banks, if they think they're in a position to stop the regulation, are deluding themselves. Their irresponsibility, not every single one of them every bit of the time, but their irresponsibility caused this problem more than anything else. They have no political support in the U.S., I don't think much elsewhere. I am concerned about the importance of our coordinating our regulatory measures with other international regulators, and that's the main reason I'm in Davos. I have been talking to regulators from the European Union, from the United Kingdom, from Canada. We need to have the same set of rules. We don't want the financial industry to be able to play us off against each other. I'm very confident that we're making progress on that. But I told the large financial institutions, look, we would like their technical advice about how best to do that. But as to whether or not we're going to go forward, the answer is we are. And if they think they can stop it, as I said, they're deluded.
Did the president make a mistake by coming out with that unilateral proposal without having consulted with other governments?
Well, he consulted some. Paul Volcker is, after all, an international figure. It's not some wild man who proposed it. I think it was important that he did that, because he sets the pace. If everybody waits for somebody else, then nothing ever happens. I think it was very important for the president to move the ball forward. By the way, the committee I chair had actually done some of that beforehand. In the bill that passed the House last fall, we gave the regulators the power to ban proprietary trading, the power to force divestiture. Now, he takes it one step further by mandating it, but the notion about whether or not that should be done, we had given him that power, and I think it was very useful that he moved the discussion forward.
Very briefly, Mr. Chairman, you say he's taking the leading role, but at the same time you hear from other governments they're annoyed about the fact that there isn't more coordination going on, the very kind that you propose.
Well, leadership can sometimes be annoying. I would say this: if you never annoy anybody, you ain't much of a leader.
Well, it all depends, though, on who you're annoying.
No, it doesn't, because you have to annoy people to move them. Now, what happens next is important. Do you cooperate? But you get people's attention? This isn't the end of it. I think he has initiated discussion. I will tell you this: I've had conversations with some who are very ready to move forward with us on this.
Chairman, thank you so much for joining us. That's Congressman Barney Frank, chairman of the House Financial Services Committee.